Hey class, sorry for the mistake. I meant we are going to conclude today's reading with chapter 27. So if you would turn with me to page 26, we will continue. So the first key slid into the first lock so smoothly that it made Rob dizzy with amazement. It was going to be so easy to let the tiger go. Hurry, Sistine said to him. Hurry up. Get the other locks. He opened the second lock and the third, and then he took them off one by one and handed them to Sistine, who laid them on the ground. Now open the doors, she said. Rob's heart pounded and fluttered in his chest. What if he eats us? He asked. He won't, said Sistine. He'll leave us alone out of gratitude. We're his emancipators. Rob flung the door wide. Get out of the way, he shouted, and they both jumped back from the door and waited. But the tiger had ignored them. He continued to pace back and forth in the cage, oblivious to the open door. Go on, Rob said to him. You're free, Sistine whispered, but the tiger did not even look in the direction of the door. Sistine crept forward and grabbed hold of the cage. She shook it. Get out, she screamed. Come on, she said, turning to Rob. Help me get him out. Rob grabbed hold of the fence and shook it. Get, he said, and the tiger stopped pacing and turned to stare at them, both clinging like monkeys to the cage. Go on, Rob shouted, suddenly furious. He shook the cage harder and he yelled. He put his head back and howled, and he saw that the sky above them was thick with clouds, and that made him even angrier. He yelled louder, and he shouted at the dark sky. He shook the cage as hard as he could. Sistine put a hand on his arm. Shh, she said. He's leaving. Watch. And as they stared, the tiger stepped with grace and delicacy out of the cage. He put his nose up and he sniffed, and he took one tiny step and then another. Then he stopped and he stood still. Sistine clapped her hands, and the tiger turned and looked back at them both, his eyes blazing, and then he started to run. He ran so fast it looked to Rob like he was flying. His muscles moved like a river. It was hard to believe that a cage had ever contained him. It didn't seem possible. The tiger went leaping through the grass, moving farther and farther away from Rob and Sistine. He looked like the sun, rising and setting again and again. And watching him go, Rob felt his own heart rising and falling, beating in time. All right, boys and girls, did your prediction come true? Did you predict that Rob would go through with it and let the tiger go, or did you think he was going to try something else? All right, so we are now going to have one more day's worth of reading. We're going to be reading chapter 28, 29, and 30 tomorrow. So where are we in the story? Are we at the rising action, climax, or falling action? All right, so we will conclude today's reading and go ahead and stop and jot. Write your predictions. What do you think is going to happen next? All right, guys, until next time, have a great day. Thanks for watching.